will recognize the member from Vernon-Monashee.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I am standing proudly as a representative for Vernon-Monashee, most beautiful constituency in the province with wonderful, kind and caring people, which is located on the traditional territory of the Syilx Okanagan Indian nations. I rise today in strong support for Bill 19, legislation that builds on our government's ongoing commitment making high-quality, affordable, and accessible childcare a reality for every family in British Columbia. There are several reasons I do that, and that includes my personal lived experiences and having to see the benefits around the community. Since 2017, our BC NDP government has worked tirelessly to transform childcare from privilege into a core service, which is much needed, a service that supports families, strengthens communities, and drives our economy forward. Since 2018, our government, with the partnership with Government of Canada, have invested nearly $8 billion. The investments in ChildCareBC helped to fund more than 41,500 new childcare spaces, and that includes in my own community of Vernon-Monashee, then last term known as Vernon-Monashee. We've seen firsthand benefits of getting hundreds of childcare spaces, in fact, more than 1,000 affordable childcare spaces, which have been game changers for many families, which I regularly hear the gratitude from families. We've opened up 2 brand new childcare centers right in Vernon and another brand new facility in Coldstream, which is open, taking care of children, providing that nurturing care. And also a new center in Lavington, each one built through collaboration. Not only that, Mr. Speaker, we've also invested in building 44 childcare spaces at the Okanagan College Vernon campus, which not only provide the childcare that parents need, but also removes the barrier when many parents, often they come to get the second advanced education, but they have already knocked on many barriers, and the biggest barrier remains is the childcare. So that childcare center has been changing lives for many parents who now have accessible childcare right at the campus. And another example, innovative example of in the region, childcare center at KFC Aerospace near Kelowna Airport, one of the few in all North America to provide on-site childcare for aerospace workers. This helps businesses, this helps community, and this is exactly the forward-thinking investments. That's what they look like. It's supporting working families while strengthening local industries. We've heard from boards that these programs, the investments need to be sustainable so they can grow and be responsive to local needs. With these changes proposed in this bill, districts will be able to recover reasonable costs like administrative and maintenance expenses, just as nonprofit centers operate today. I've heard several speeches from the members of the opposition and members from this side, and there is one thought was shared repeatedly by some members of the opposition that is it going to take away from private childcare providers. I must say that having to work directly with nonprofits and private childcare owners, need is huge. As I mentioned, that we've created thousands of childcare spaces across the province and many more in my constituency, but the need is huge, so there is more spaces that are needed, so this will help to fill that gap. My community, Vernon-Monashee, is also among, and Vernon in, particularly, is the first communities in BC. They've had the pilots seamless before and after childcare program. They piloted this, and the program that's been life-changing for so many parents. I want to sincerely thank the City of Vernon, Village of Lumbee, District of Coldstream, and Boys and Girls Club, Maven Lane, and all the other nonprofit organizations and childcare providers in my community that for their partnership and to make all these programs such a success. As a long-time registered nurse, more than 2 decades, and becoming young widowed at one stage of my life, having 2 little girls, I know firsthand how much I needed these spaces. There was no way, Mr. Speaker, I could leave hospital because whether it's the blood transfusion hanging or I need to be with my patients, you can't leave some work settings, and they could be construction workers or anybody working in those settings that parents don't have time. We're working long shifts. It's now Monday to Friday, 8 to 4. I wasn't able to go pick up my daughters from school and then to drop off at childcare spaces. Even then, there were not enough childcare spaces, let alone affordable. It was $59 per day at the time when I was getting the costs around. And I remember that how it could change lives for many. And I relied on friends, families, and I would drop them off. And sometimes I couldn't even pick them up. I had to ask friends, can you go pick up? And sometimes I would ask my little daughters to walk to such so-and-so's house. And even though everybody's there to help, but you know how you feel guilty of being burdened, but you're taking care of people and you're honored with that work. And then my mom helped, but not everybody is so fortunate enough to have that kind of support system in place, and that is why this investment will help. I've been thinking about many workers, and I've been having flashbacks, and that's why I wanted to stand here in support of this and sharing that experience, how this is going to help many parents. But this work doesn't stop at the public sector. In our community, private childcare providers are also thriving since we have started investing in childcare. I remember initially shopping at the Costco in Kelowna. One private childcare provider came. Initially, there was fear, there was misinformation in 2018, 2019, that this investment in childcare is going to take away businesses from private providers. And we had this wholesome discussion. I've shared that we're not working against anybody. We want to work together because, yes, our goal is to provide as many spaces, but we don't have the infrastructure. So now that private childcare owner, and there are many others, proudly shares, he says, I am so thrilled. Now he owns 3. He expanded to buy another one in Vernon. The need was there, and also third one in Kamloops. And he says, Harwinder, thank you so much. The only reason I'm thriving because of these investment and partnership. Otherwise, it wasn't easy to sustain and to operate this business. So it is to helping one another. In fact, there are many partnerships with nonprofits, public and private providers. Working together, we can achieve a lot more. Collectively, since 2018, Mr. Speaker, more than $3 billion has stayed in parents' pockets. Hardworking BC families, average family is saving more than $900 per month per child. As I mentioned, when I was running around getting the quotes, and that is mid-2000, I'm talking about 2008, 2010, 2012, that era. 59 even then was a lot, and there were not even enough spaces, and that's why I'm a huge supporter of this. And now there is 10-a-day childcare spaces, but we have aimed to expand those. But also families are paying no more than $17 a day. The goal is always to make it more affordable. As we know the results, that's collective figures. And families in Vernon, Lavington, Coldstream, and Lumbee also saved more than $25 million that went directly back to parents' pockets, and these are the numbers, can be found anywhere. They're openly available. And at the doorsteps, I've heard from many, many people. I go do school visits. I hear from a teacher who moved from Alberta. And when we were talking about the work we all do collectively, regardless of parties, what we do and what our goal is to, no matter which side we stand on, it's also for the betterment, always for the betterment of our community. That teacher wasn't very politically, she had very nonpartisan stand, but she shared with class that she didn't know the history about how BC was the first province to champion the childcare under our former colleague, Minister then Katrina Chen, who championed this. And then federal government came on board, and our province was the first one to sign that agreement. Then teacher said, now it makes sense. She said, I was not able to work full-time, and so was my husband. We were both part-timers, and she said, since we have now affordable childcare in Vernon, she's working full-time, so is her husband, and family is thriving. That was so reassuring for me to hear, because again, these stats, numbers in papers mean one thing, but when we hear from people the difference it's making in their lives, it's another thing, that when we see these investments into action. Childcare investments empower people. They also strengthen our economy. There has been thousands of studies in Canada and North America and all around the world that every dollar spent in providing affordable childcare brings several dollars benefit to our economy. It supports businesses, it supports people, and that is why I'm proud that our Greater Vernon Chamber, from day one, we've been working together. They have been huge supporter of investments in childcare, affordable childcare, and they're very open, public about it, and they appreciate the ongoing investments, and they encourage us to continue to do more. As I said, I've heard many stories. There is a parent who came to me when a couple of my colleagues from this side were visiting Vernon. She stood up. She said, I was paying more than $2,000 per month for my daughter, Goldie, and she said now it's less than $300. That is the difference it's making. And there's so many other stories. I was at Kelowna Airport coming to Victoria, and I heard my name. Often us politicians, when we hear a name, we're ready for, we're here to, maybe there's a feedback, criticism, and as a nurse, I'm always open to criticism and constructive feedback. That's what helps us to be better person, better representative, and better community members. And that parent, Roy, he said, I just want to say thank you. He said, my family and my partner were saving. We have 2 kids, and more than $1,800 for both they're saving. And he said that money is going back to our mortgage payment. And this person happened to know the member sitting next to me as well. And it filled my heart with gratitude, and that's why we can't slow down. That is what affordability looks like. That is what progress feels like, and that is what Bill 19 will continue to strengthen. By amending School Act, we're making it easier for school districts to offer care for children of all ages, including infants, toddlers, and during non-school days, Mr. Speaker. We're using our existing spaces, our schools, which are already trusted hubs in every community, to deliver more of the care families needs. And I strongly believe that it also provides that consistency for child, where they are working together, they had educational time, and now they can be nurtured and cared by the friendly faces. And districts have been asking for this flexibilities. And when I talk to parents in my community, there are still parents on the waiting list. And that the reason is, yes, we're building a lot more. We're working with private childcare providers, but childcare spaces can't come soon enough. So this bill will help us to utilize the spaces that we already have, and it'll make affordable childcare available and accessible quicker than, as we know, that we're waiting for many more spaces to be built. Honorable Speaker, there have been, we can not be reluctant and be skeptical about these investments, because we cannot downplay the value of early learning, ignored needs of working families, and we need to invest in people in every way we can. But we are committed on this side, and I'm pretty sure all members will continue to support. And if there is some opposition, I cannot see the reason why anybody would oppose this or be skeptical, as we have been proving this since 2017-18, and we need to continue to invest in resilient economy. And I strongly believe, and say it repeatedly, that we cannot have a strong, resilient economy without healthier, thriving families and communities, because they are the ones who build our economies. They're the ones who contribute to economies. When people can save money and they have childcare, both parents can work to their fullest potential. When they have the disposable income that gets invested back in, whether it's local businesses and economy. Bill 19 is about exactly what, like building a future. Every child has a chance to thrive, where every parent can participate in workforce, and where every community can benefit from shared prosperities, including rural communities and communities who don't have the availability of accessible, affordable spaces yet. So as we move forward with this legislation, let's remember what truly is at stake: the success of our children, the strength of our families, and the sustainability of our economy, but also this bill helps to include many, many hardworking families and workers who, despite us building more affordable childcare, didn't have this seamless model where child can stay there for longer extended hours. This is going to be such a huge game changer, because when we invest in people, we invest in the future of this province. And I strongly believe that is what Bill 19 helps us to do. And I'm proud to stand here to support this bill. And I just want to say before I close my remarks that while we're making investments in affordable childcare spaces, we must never forget the childcare providers who are the backbone of this program. We cannot deliver effective and safe childcare without them. And it takes a very special, caring, kind person with lots of patience working with children with different needs to do that kind of work. So I want to give my heartfelt gratitude to every single early childhood educator, every childcare worker that is there every day in and out, working in making sure our children are safe. That is why we did increase their wages multiple times, and we're committed to be there to support them because we value you, we see you, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much for all you do, and I want to extend my appreciation for the local partners as well as nonprofits, private childcare providers, and at-home family childcare providers. Thank you. You are building the future of this province. And when we're looking at various issues that societies are facing, and then we talk about root cause. Root cause, where if we want to address these challenges, we need to address the root cause, and that starts with investing in early childhood care and affordable childcare, because nurturing safe care does help these children to grow and thrive and gives them self-confidence and help them to become successful adults, and it helps our economy collectively. So I am proud to support this, and I want to thank the minister for putting this forward, because this is gonna change many lives in such a positive way, and it's gonna help strengthen our communities, our economy, and support our families. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to speak.